and tonight we're going to look at the Maui fires. Now, it's been a couple months since it's happened, so there's been a lot more information coming in, and this video seems to put a lot of the information together. It's a little bit conspiratorial, but you got to take in all the information to know what's real and what's fake.
Maui wildfires, where the death toll stands at 115. The search for the hundreds still unaccounted for entered a new phase today. The death toll rising and likely to go higher.
Still get dead bodies in the water floating and on the seawall. They've been sitting there since last night. We've been pulling people out since last night, trying to save people's lives. And I feel like we're not getting the help we need. This is a nationwide issue at this point. Yeah, we need help, a lot of help.
I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill
This
and
was
I,
awful. He shouldn't
what
have
it's
said
like to lose a
anything.
home. And lightning struck at home on a little lake. It's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond, and hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
Don't want to lose that Corvette.
There's a reason Jonathan Herzog's video has been viewed over 1 million times. It tells the story of Front Street in those crucial hours of 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and 5 p.m.
Okay, so this is pretty
Jonathan Herzog's day didn't
weird.
just end with roadblocks, but it began with them during his AM commute from Kihei.
And then as I got into Lahaina, they were redirecting us all around through these back streets, and branches were coming down.
On his way to Kaanapali, Herzog started filming as he entered town, sensing unusual conditions.
The winds were the worst winds I've ever been in my life.
When he was later heading home through Lahaina town just before 3 p.m., he hit this roadblock on the southbound highway at Kapuna Kea before the Cannery Mall. Herzog backtracked to where Front Street meets the highway. Traffic moved well enough at that time to rejoin the highway near Lahaina Luna here. At 3:19, his camera shows a police vehicle blocking access to the highway at Papalaua. But nothing had eased up, so without GPS, he heads north to look for an open route. His first view of the fire at 3:24 p.m. on the hillside, and just before 4 p.m., he ends up in this line of cars on Front Street, in gridlock.
So the police were blocking off.
I'm ready to go now. Why wait? Early bird gathers no moss. Rolling stone catches the worm, right?
Just sat there, I think it was a good 25 minutes, something like that.
Holy cow, dude. So now the smoke is virtually blocking out the light. I am gonna make my way down to the water.
At 4:26, Herzog abandoned his car at Kingdom Hall and walked to Mala Wharf.
It was obvious the fire was out of control, so that's when I decided to
So
leave the
police
vehicle
seem to be
completely.
Passing
roadblocking
vehicle
crucial
after
exit
vehicle, he
points out of
noticed of
the
those on the
town.
bridge.
All of those cars were still sitting there, just same exact spots.
KITV4 reported on the other side of the Cannery Mall that Herzog passed by in the 4 p.m. hour. The highway was completely shut down for 2.5 hours at Keawe Street until at least 5:24 p.m. Traffic routed towards Front Street. At 5:30, Herzog comes to the end of Front Street, and to his surprise,
Looks like 2 police vehicles parked kind of nose to that exit for Front Street, kind of at a V like this. The traffic had basically bottlenecked right there. So there were cars in both lanes trying to go north by this point. But everyone was stopped on Front Street right there.
Front Street, and all the cars were lined up, but none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the Chart House. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what was stopping the traffic. Well, it was a policeman. And I got to the end and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars there.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to hit Front Street. These people got to get out of here. And he said, I'm following orders.
No way.
And so I just kept walking. Well, maybe he knows something I don't, So, and I keep walking down the highway.
Weird.
And I look behind, no cars are coming out.
The cops
I
are
walked all the way
blocking
to
off all
Waikuna Beach,
exits.
still no cars coming out. And I started hearing boom, boom, boom. And then I heard people screaming and stuff.
You're saying they were blockaded in by the police at the end of Front Street?
Yeah.
Like where the restaurant is?
Where the chart house
Where the chart house was, I should say. There was a blockade there, and they could not go any further.
Right. I walked.
What the hell?
I walked all the way from Safeway to there. Not one car had moved.
As the maintenance worker walked past the gridlock, heading north on foot, at 5:33 p.m. motorists had been fleeing into the water, as seen in Noah Tompkinson's video, 1 mile to the south of the Front Street roadblock near Baker.
Mayor Richard Bisson gave to local station KITV just after 6 p.m.
I'm happy to report that the road is open to and from Lahaina.
But in fact, by this point, the fire had already spread into downtown Lahaina.
Oh my God, I can't see anything. We're surrounded by fire. Jesus, please help us.
The mayor seemingly unaware that much of downtown was ablaze, and many residents were either caught in or were fleeing the flames.
We have reports of structures, older buildings that have been burned in Lahaina. Our update is actually going to come in at about 7 p.m.
And late to comprehend just how devastating the fires actually were.
Truman, looks like a leak at the plant.
Back up, back up. Leak at the plant. They had to shut her down. Is there any way around? Whole area is being evacuated.
Is there anything I can do?
No, ma'am. Thank you for your help. You're welcome, Chairman.
Literally cannot get over there.
That's just the way it is.
Well,
I've been ordered not to let anyone across the bridge, so you can go through CSRD and see if they'll let you through, but right now you're not allowed across the bridge.
Came in on? No! Stop! I don't give a fuck! Stop! Stay back! You go get my kids! Turn around! You go get my kids! Where are your kids? Right at 501, right at the fireworks sign. We're blocking this road. We're blocking this road. Nobody's getting through.
The 100 acres of bush. That's where the liability issue comes in. Possibly be in the way of wildfires or other firefighting opportunities. There is nobody out here besides us.
They sent all the kids home from school because of the wind advisory, and we found out yesterday that we lost a whole neighborhood of children.
Over 1,000 children are missing.
1,000 children are missing?
I'm talking 1,050 kids gone without a trace. They have absolutely no clue where these children are.
I broke all the possible traffic rules that you can think of. I do not know why I didn't have any warnings. The authorities claim that the siren is only for tsunamis.
Yeah, that's strange too.
There's so many families that died because they were sleeping. They didn't know.
They should have just put the
alarm
siren
on. Would have at least tell them, hey, something's happening. No text messages, nothing, absolutely nothing. And the next day I came back to get my animals, and I saw all the vehicles that I was like standing in traffic to escape town. They were still in there, all burned down. And it was only locals pulling bodies out of the water and pulling people out of the water because we had no help.
We found ourselves trapped on Front Street with fires coming at us. We had to make a decision to jump in the water. And at that time we did when the flames was too hot to stay in the car.
So it looks like they trapped
them. We decided to go into the ocean, and at that point I met that family that had 5 kids, and I was given the 2-year-old to hold, and I had him for a number of hours. It was like an explosion going off everywhere, like a fire goddess, just like throwing fireballs all over the place.
So I just kept walking, and I got all the way to, like I said, the Civic Center, and then I started hearing all the explosions.
New videos show the inferno that engulfed Lahaina and how residents spent hours in the ocean to survive. Anger is growing. How did the nation's deadliest wildfire happen with no warning?
Did you get any type of alert?
No.
Google Maps has updated its images of Maui, of where it was burnt. So I want to show you the images, but I want to show you one spot first of asking, how did this place get set on fire? You see the buildings are burnt there, but there's dirt all around here. In fact, there's even the baseball fields of where it's green with grass, while these other areas are burnt. This is how far away it was, is almost a quarter of a mile away. So how did fire burn that place down, but not the grass? Or what about this spot where there's 2 burnt cars? Y'all have seen the video of that. Because as I zoom out, you see that the buildings and everything are fine in the area. So how did they burn so bad that it was like molten metal? Why is realtors going onto YouTube in the areas to where the fire took place,
Look at that.
showing
This
houses
are
that
still up.
stayed and houses that was burnt down. And as you see him pan to this one,
Yeah,
well,
that
what is
is
this?
weird.
This is grass with a burnt down house.
But all the other
In
houses
fact, look at this one that I just paused on. There's a kid's toy, plastic, still sitting there. Grass, but houses demolished and burnt down. Could someone tell me these things? Why?
Okay, so I'm going to show you some damage here inside the burn zone, the disaster area of the Lahaina fire. This is a community called Kahoma Village. It's where I live. And I guess what I want to show here is, obviously you see the house right in front of me burned completely to the ground, completely to ashes.
But the houses.
But then as I swing around the camera here, you're going to see that pretty much all the homes around it look basically untouched. Now off in the distance that way, you're going to see some more destruction, a few townhome buildings that were completely burnt to the ground, but all the way around it, again, a lot of townhome buildings and houses that look like they're untouched.
Fires in California, Australia, and now Hawaii are unlike anything we've ever seen before. They are being called forest fires and wildfires, but they are clearly something very different. These fires are burning homes into a white powdery ash footprint, while often leaving the surrounding green trees and shrubs practically untouched.
That is
In
weird.
extreme cases, forest fires can reach temperatures up to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. But there are cars
That is
with
sus.
puddles of melted aluminum that were clearly not in the wildfire area. And melted glass, which has a melting point around 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. These are unexplained anomalies. In the California fires of 2018, cars were randomly bursting into flames on the freeway with no surrounding fires. In Maui, these unnatural fires spared the homes of the rich while burning the native homes of the working class. With precision, these fires destroyed the most envied, high-valued areas of Maui. For decades, directed energy weapons have been classified, but they have been on the public record for several years now. Directed energy weapons, known as DEWs, have the ability to burn homes with this sort of precision. But in order to be this precise, the area would have to be mapped out. In January of this year, green lasers were seen over Hawaii, which could best be described as a geospatial array for mapping terrain. We have seen that among the ashy ruins, there are blue-colored objects that have somehow survived the devastation. Blue cars, blue umbrellas, a blue boat, blue planters. Videos online are going viral that show how lasers can easily burn through certain colored objects, but objects that are colored blue remain unharmed.
You fools! You've erected a massive concave reflective surface. It will focus the sun's beam in a deadly ray.
We will rebuild! We will rebuild! We will rebuild!
We will rebuild. This morning, some relief for the people of Maui from two of Hollywood's biggest stars, Oprah and The Rock, Dwayne
Yeah, this
Johnson,
is a
coming
big
together to aid
fiasco.
communities impacted by the wildfires, launching a fund with an initial donation of $10 million, but also asking for more help.
Where money was sent directly to each individual. And this idea all started because of Dolly. Thank you, Dolly.
Okay, well, you know the whole story of Dwayne and Oprah situation, so I'm not going to get into that. So that was just a little recap of what's been going on in Maui and the theories around that. Now, the direct energy, that's really a conspiracy theory because there's really no proof of that. So that's one thing I can say. You can't take it out of the equation, but There's no real proof. I'm not saying it didn't happen or it couldn't happen, but there's no proof. But everything else is, you know, like the cops blocking the access out of town. That's very fucking suspicious. But we'll see you next time. Comment down below. And if you want more exclusive content, you can check me out on Patreon. The link is in the description. And we'll see you next time.